Hello there, and welcome back. We are in Season 2, officially, of the Tuesday Night Fiction podcast, Book 2 of the Civilands series. The book is Crystallize, and last week we started with Chapter 1, Feeding Time. And tonight I want to talk not about that a ton, because as we know from the first book that we went through, the first 20 episodes of the Tuesday Night Fiction podcast, Chapter 1 is a bit of an enigma. We have some certain things happen where there's not a lot to talk about. There's not a lot that I can say without giving spoilers. But if you're new here, welcome. And you might be, because I'm going to be talking about something very interesting today that just really interests me, and it has for a while. And today I'm going to get really positive. I'm not going to be negative. I've been negative about this thing in particular for too long. But like I said, if you're new, this is Tuesday Night Fiction. I'm Nicholas Austin, and we talk here about the Civilands series because this is an audiobook podcast where each week I go through an audiobook chapter from the series, and then I talk about it in these recap episodes straight to your face. Tonight I'm going to be talking a very little bit at the end about what we experienced in the chapter, but first, because this is episode 1, I want to get controversial a little bit. And not controversial because I'm going to be heaping praises on the thing that I'm talking, or criticizing the thing that I'm talking about, but controversial because I'm going to be heaping praises, actually, on Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I think as a writer of fantasy based on reality, a somewhat alternate history in another world, I'm going to create an alternate history of my own. Rian Johnson, in my alternate universe, is a hero, and I'm going to tell you why he's a hero. Now, in order to understand why this is significant, me saying this, first we need to understand where I first came from before with this Last Jedi movie. Now, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I always have been a big fan of the Jedi. But the new Disney Star Wars was sure to destroy that, and destroy it did in some ways. In some ways. Now, some blamed Kathleen Kennedy. Rightfully so. We'll get into her a little bit later. Some blamed Disney as a whole. Some blamed J.J. Abrams for starting it off on a bad note. Many blamed Rian Johnson. I blamed Rian Johnson at first. I go into a lot of movies and I don't walk out happy, because nowadays they make a lot of movies that aren't worth being happy about. Yesterday I went to the movie theater for one example. I'm not going to go into it. That's for another video. But Star Wars: The Last Jedi was pretty objectively a bad... I'm going to dispute that premise. But I think Rian Johnson might actually be a hero. Or I'm going to choose to look at him as a hero because I can't afford to look at everyone in a negative light that was associated with this movie. And let me tell you why. So Disney is obviously evil, right? Disney remakes everything. They own everything. They even own ESPN. You can't even go to the sports world without finding Disney. The Devil Mouse is real. And, I mean, I don't even need to go into that. It's obvious. Disney's awful. They've taken a beautiful thing in Star Wars and destroyed it. However, my theory... And Rian Johnson, you have no choice but to accept this theory. If you take this and you make something positive out of it by acknowledging this is the truth, then you can come out as a hero. You can come out as a good man. Not even just a hero, but a good man. You can escape this nonsense and make a real career out of it. You could make a statement with this. So if this is the truth, just come clean. You know, I believe you. I believe in you, Rian. I want to believe in you. Because that movie did not give me a reason, but I'm not going to hate you anymore. You know why? Because I think that you knew the direction it was going in. I think that deep down, Ryan, you're a Star Wars fan too. You're a director. I think that Rian Johnson watched Star Wars as a kid, and he was inspired by the world it created. And sure, you're going to say, well, Rian Johnson's subversive. He makes movies like Looper, and he subverts concepts. Like, I guess Looper, it was, I don't know, time travel or something. I don't remember that movie at all. But let's say he subverts time travel. Well, time travel isn't possible anyway. I've gone into that in past videos. You can find those videos in my back catalog. Time travel is, it's a nonsense topic, so it deserves to be subverted. And that's what he did here. So Rian Johnson comes into Star Wars, which, it was a beautiful series. Star Wars was a beautiful series about a boy who overcomes he goes out into the world, the farm boy who goes out into the world and makes something of himself. And he overcomes the dark side. He overcomes the temptation. And he ends up converting his own dark father. He brings him to the light. There's power, there's truth in that story. It's a beautiful story. And whether you think you needed to make that more interesting, whether you're George R. R. Martin and you want to just make it less black and white, make it grayer, fine. Go ahead and make it grayer. But you don't need to subvert that story. If it wasn't going to be subverted anyway. If it wasn't going to be ruined anyway. Which Disney, at the outset of coming out with the J.J. Abrams version, proved it would be. By first killing off Han Solo with no emotional impact at all. Luke didn't see it. Leia didn't see it. They just wanted to kill the past. That was Disney's mission. And they've made that clear in articles. It wasn't just Rian Johnson that wanted to do that. They made it clear that they wanted to kill the past and make a new series. So what did Rian say? In his mind, because he can't say it to Evil Dr. Disney, the Devil Mouse. So what Rian Johnson said was, this isn't right. Rian Johnson most likely had a call with his father or someone else of significance in his life. And he said, let's pretend it's his dad. He called his dad and he said, Dad, they're ruining Star Wars, Dad. The Devil Mouse, Dad. And his dad said, Ryan, you go out there and you save Star Wars, Ryan. Because we went to the movies together when we were younger, and it's time for you to save Star Wars, Ryan. So Rian Johnson was like, yeah, Dad, I'm gonna. At which point, he felt belief again. Rian Johnson saw that, and he said, okay, how can I turn this around? So, what he did was, he took the exact message that they wanted and used it against them. He gave Disney exactly what they wanted because Rian Johnson knew that that was the poison pill. And this is a concept I want to discuss. The poison pill. Now, I don't know what context it's normally used in historically, the concept of a poison pill, but to me, what I believe is that the more you destroy, the more you try to subvert stories and you make endings just to surprise people like Game of Thrones, and the more you come out with these stories that just don't acknowledge the truth. They don't drive towards the truth. They don't drive towards a good outcome. They don't punish the evil. They don't redeem those who seek redemption. They subvert. The more you make those stories, the more they get rejected. Like I was saying, the movie I saw this weekend will be forgotten within a year that it ever existed. Because it doesn't drive towards truth and goodness. And that kind of thing doesn't survive. So, What did Rian Johnson do? He said, I need to destroy the Empire, the evil Empire, led by Emperor Kathleen Kennedy. But what most people don't see in all this is the villain is not just the evil Empire. The villain is also Mark Hamill. Now, this is my controversial opinion. And it's a little bit satire as well. But I choose to see the light. Mark Hamill associates with the character Luke Skywalker very strongly. He likes to think he understands where the character Luke Skywalker goes in life. He thinks he knows the choices that Luke would make, and he tended to disagree with the direction that His Majesty Rian Johnson wanted to take his character in. Now let's think about this for a second. Why did Mark Hamill have a problem with Luke Skywalker? Okay, so Mark Hamill had a problem with Luke Skywalker because his Luke Skywalker, in his youth, in his passionate youth, was a good-hearted kid who stuck with the light side of the Force. He didn't do evil. Luke Skywalker did not do evil. And because of that, he was able to stay within the light, rescue his father, and bring truth to the universe. Or the galaxy. Whatever. Anyway, Rian Johnson looks at the man Mark Hamill has become. Now, I don't know if everyone's seen this article. They probably haven't, most people. But people look up to Mark Hamill because he's outwardly a somewhat likable guy. But there was an article recently that I saw that Mark Hamill tried to force his son's, I guess it's a porn star, I don't know. He tried to force some Asian lady that his son hooked up with into having an abortion. Now, before you say, oh my God, this guy sucks, he's anti-abortion. Look, I am anti-abortion. I don't think it should ever happen. However, this is not about that. Whether you're pro or anti-abortion, what Mark Hamill did is disgusting, and I'll explain to you why. If you don't believe in abortion, you probably consider yourself pro-choice, right? You believe in a woman's right to choose. Well, in Mark Hamill's case, his son's baby mama wanted to have her baby. She wanted very badly to have her baby because she had an abortion before and decided it wasn't for her to do it again. It had very bad mental consequences on her. So she made her choice to keep the baby. But Mark Hamill and his family all reached out to her and pressured her to kill her baby. Pretty pro-choice, huh? For a man who most likely believes in abortion. Doesn't matter. The woman who has the baby, even if you're pro-choice, should be the one to choose. If you're trying to convince her to kill her baby, well, I'd say that sounds a lot like, maybe trying to kill Kylo Ren in his sleep because you think he wasn't wanted or that he would do evil. So you make the decision to kill the baby. Sound familiar, guys? Is this coming together yet? Maybe Rian Johnson saw the same article I did, and he was like, Luke Skywalker isn't good anymore. He's evil. He's gone to the dark side and he doesn't even see it. Why does Mark Hamill deserve the praise? He's become evil. And who better, guys? Who better to take up the role of the hero than an Asian actress? So he brings in the character that Finn, I guess, falls in love with by the end of the movie. And she is the good one. She believes in love. She believes in love and that you need to hold on to the things you love. So she saves Finn, the guy she loves, because she wants a baby. She wants Finn's baby. And Rian Johnson knows all this, and he knows that in order to save Star Wars, you have to destroy Star Wars. Because Mark Hamill isn't the hero anymore. Clearly. Anyone who tries to convince their son's baby mama who wants the child that's inside of her to keep it, to tell her that the baby's unwanted, that guy is not, he's not right with the Force, man. He's not right with the Force. Mark Hamill has fallen to the dark side. And you think he deserves the screen accolades of being the legend, the Luke Skywalker of old? Fuck that. Fuck that. We're done with this age of the infinite actor who just gets everything he wants. The filthy, like, scum who doesn't have to be good in real life. He just gets to do whatever the fuck he wants all the time. That actor is dead. And Mark Hamill is partly at fault for killing him. Because here we are. Here we are. And again, I'm not presenting the binary here. I'm not presenting the you have to be this or that binary, as much as I think that you should probably be pro-life. I am very pro-life. But even if you're pro-choice, this man is a Sith. Mark Hamill is a Sith in real life. And Rian Johnson sees all this stuff happening in real life, and he decided to translate real life to the screen. So what do we end up with? Like I said, we end up with the Asian lady who's the hero. You think that's a fucking coincidence? Rian is not that stupid. He's not that dim. Rian thinks deep. He subverts your expectations. The man is deep. And look, am I going to see another movie that this guy made? No. Why would I? He's trying to flip the establishment. Now that I know this, I'm never going to see another movie he makes. He's doing God's work right now by trying to get all those big companies destroyed. Next thing you know, he'll come out with a movie on Netflix or Amazon or something. Whatever. Whatever he sees is the next evil empire, because Rian Johnson is a massive Star Wars fan. Massive, guys. Bigger than you could ever imagine. And this isn't sarcasm. Okay? I'm presenting you a scenario because, and this is what I'm going to get into next, because I believe that there's no point in despair. So let me tell you where I was before. So I came out with an article that you can find on our website, www.nbaustinbooks.com, where I ripped The Last Jedi, because I thought it should have gone differently. And I wasn't wrong. I stand by that. I think it should have gone differently if we weren't dealing with, an evil like the Devil Mouse and Mark Hamill, who's a Sith. Darth Hamill. I'm going to call him Darth Hamill from now on. From now on, Mark Hamill is Darth Hamill, for all intents and purposes. We weren't dealing with this problem before. The Empire was clean. We had a republic. We overtook the Sith. We beat them. We beat Emperor Palpatine, who they're apparently going to bring back. These are things that needed to fall. These are empires that you need a fall to rise again. So these leeches, they don't live forever. This new Star Wars can't live forever. And that's why they're ending it now. And it's going to be so bad. It's going to be biblically bad. The Last Skywalker, or whatever the hell it's going to be called, it's going to be epically bad. It's going to be one of the worst movies probably made. I actually just saw a video that said that they're reshooting it now. It was 3 months from releasing, and they're reshooting it right now, and they haven't decided on an ending. There's 6 ending possibilities. It's going to be so bad. I've seen leaks about it already. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to be the spoiler guy. But anyway, so I had a whole thing about where I thought The Last Jedi should have went. where I thought that the Star Wars series should have went. You you introduce these new characters, you introduce the Knights of Ren. Why weren't the Knights of Ren there? I thought Rey could have been a Knight of Ren who just maybe lost her memory somehow. Maybe that's why they weren't in the first movie. It would have made sense. You'd have Rey come to realize in the next movie that she was parts of the Knights of Ren, and she was maybe part of Kylo's thing to overtake Luke's Jedi Academy. But that couldn't happen. Rian Johnson was smarter than me because he looked past the allure of keeping Luke Skywalker the character he is, because in 30 years, a lot of people say we didn't see what has turned Luke Skywalker into what he is now over 30 years. Yeah, we did. Mark Hamill goes around saying he's Luke Skywalker. Darth Hamill goes around saying he's Luke Skywalker all the time. Darth Vader isn't Anakin Skywalker anymore. He's Darth Vader. Luke Skywalker turned into Darth Hamill. That's his trajectory. We saw it in real life. We saw it play out. He's telling you the story himself. He is Luke Skywalker. He thinks he knows everything about this character. So we know what he did the last 30 years. He played the Joker on some cartoon really well. How do you think he laughs that evil if he's hasn't made some turn into a villain? We're gonna pretend like this didn't happen? Am I the only one? I don't know. Anyway. So I think under different circumstances, yeah, Rian Johnson probably would have made a better movie. I think if he maybe started it from the beginning, if he would have had an actual blank slate, because making a movie where the Skywalkers are still in it, it limits you, because now you have to work with Darth Hamill, and that's hard. Where do I take Darth Hamill? I don't even really know. It's going to be weird, because people don't. Not everyone's familiar with the article I talked about, but he has to work with it. Rian Johnson has to work with what came before him, as we all know, right? He has to work with 30 years since the last Star Wars movie, or whatever it's been. I mean, it hasn't been 30 since the prequels, but whatever it's been since the original ones. And what J.J. Abrams did, right? And J.J. Abrams didn't address Darth Hamill, but it's on Rian Johnson to address it, and he's got to do it in a short period of time. It's hard to get into that. Abortion's a heavy debate in the Star Wars universe. He did a pretty good job of showing it inside the Jedi Academy, where he went and tried to kill Kylo, who, honestly, I think, what's the actor's name? I don't remember his name. I really like that guy as an actor. He's all right in Star Wars, but he's usually a pretty good actor. But he kind of looks Asian. He's got a little bit of that look to him. I mean, there's something about him that kind of has that look going on. So maybe that was supposed to... it's supposed to be a representation of real life, right? He picks the Asian lady as the hero. Makes perfect sense. She's the damsel who gets attacked by Darth Hamill in real life. I mean, just the most unspeakable evil. Just trying to convince a woman to kill her baby who wants to have her baby. Unspeakable. No matter who you are. And that's the reality, So Rian Johnson gets pinned in that corner, and he comes out on top, and I'll tell you why. Because no one is going to see this movie. I mean, this movie will make a fraction of what the last one made at best. Honestly, I can't even seeing the leak. So there's like I said, there's these leak videos on YouTube, and they come out and they say what's going to happen in the movie, and then there's other videos that say talk about the reshoots, and even those videos are so unplayed. People just don't care, man. They don't care. Rian Johnson didn't unfortunately ruin Star Wars. He successfully destroyed the Disney Empire and its control over Star Wars, as well as Darth Hamill's vice grip on the character we used to love, who was Luke Skywalker, who we still love. We still have a spot in our heart for him, but he needs to believe in redemption. He needs to find his redemption. He needs to seek it. He needs to atone. We can't keep putting him up on this pedestal when we know he's done evil. And we can forgive him. Always forgive. but he has to apologize. At least. We need to see that he wants to change. You know? He needs to change. And if the Asian character that saved Finn is not the star of the next movie, it's fine. She had her time in the spotlight. It is what it is. Rian Johnson brought attention to an issue that desperately needed it. Desperately. He needed the baby mama that was buried. He took the baby mama that was buried in tabloids and brought her to the spotlight for everyone to see. Everyone. And that's commendable of him. So Rian, I'm just going to say it now. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. I was wrong about your Star Wars. Not about how bad it was. It was awful. But about you. And I know that you didn't mean it. I know you weren't really trying to make a good movie. I think I want to believe. And like I said at the beginning, you can own up to this. You could take credit for this now. And everyone would forgive you. Because it would be so epic for you to have come out and made this clear statement that the representation in every single scene, like, it's just ridiculous. And you know that. And you did it anyway because you were like, we need to destroy the idea that this makes any sense at all. We need to destroy the gender war that Disney's trying to create between Purple Hair Lady and Poe Dameron. Like, I'm going to make it so ridiculous and so insanely stupid. Just so dumb that no one can deny it. That no one ever wants to see it. That people just throw up all over it to the point, like physically, I mean literally throw up about it. To the point where we can't make movies about this anymore. Or else we'll just cause too many people to throw up. It will suck. People will just be calling in, telling us about how they threw up, and they won't. We can't just keep making movies that suck that bad. So he just took the ideas that everyone can't stand, and I mean everyone. They can't stand it. There's no looking at, like I said, the conflict between Poe and the captain lady. There's no looking at that and being like, yeah, that's good. It's impossible. And the more that they reveal this, the more that they shove it in your fucking throat, the more that they just jam it down there, you know, the more, the less they'll be able to do it. Because again, this next movie is going to be so just terrible that, I mean, it's going to make so much less money. I can't even believe it. I'm not happy about it. But Rian did what he had to do. He exposed the seemingly unexposable. Especially after what Disney's been able to do with Marvel. Especially after that. I mean, they just seemed like a giant, like they could never die. And Rian proved them wrong. And now he gets to move on to other things. Like his movie Knives Out, which apparently is just as bad as Star Wars with all the blatant nonsense. But like I said, he's probably just exposing another large behemoth. Because that's what he does. He subverts, but for a reason. He subverts because he knows it's the only way to destroy from the inside. So bravo, Rian. Here's to you. Keep doing what you're doing. And I hope that I helped you, anyone who just looks at Star Wars and frowns, I hope I helped you out of despair, because that's what I wanted to do here. And I'm now being, I mean, I've been kind of serious, kind of not serious, but you get what I'm saying. When it comes to Star Wars, and when it comes to, like I said, a lot of movies, I would go in expecting perfection, and it's gotten to the point where I can't watch movies anymore, I realized, you know? Like, I get out, and every time I watch a movie, I'm just like, Jesus, this is just so bad. I mean, it's just nothing Nothing makes sense with the story. Everything's so simple. It's just all so easy and dumb. But really, I think it helps in some ways because the more people see it, the more we all see it, the more the next generation of writers will be better. The more that, again, like PC culture, the more that gets spread, the less anyone wants to hear it. The more people just realize that if everyone just says what's on their mind, that's how you filter out the thoughts that are good and the thoughts that aren't. That's how you get to a better place. So yeah. So maybe sometimes we just have to shove the shit in people's faces, right? And if you don't think it goes the same way with the opposite side, pay attention, right? I mean, if you see that, like when people are super racist or something and they just drill this stuff in your face, like, and they just talk all the time about how horrible people are, it's obviously nonsense. But the more they say it doesn't, censoring it doesn't delete it. The answer is to just let them keep saying it, and everybody will just ignore them, and then and you move on. It's the same thing with PC culture. Just let them keep doing it. There's no point in despairing about it, you know? Let's just treat Rian Johnson like a hero. Let's make him our hero. He's helping, really. He comes out with these garbage movies, and it's not going to be good. I mean, if it was, would Disney have, be reshooting this movie 6 times with 3 months left for a December release for the final in a trilogy? They don't even know how to end their own movie. He's destroyed them so much. And you think in the next trilogy they're not going to plot the whole thing out before they start? So really, in the end, it's a good thing. When you see these things, don't be upset about it. Because I used to get upset about it, and it's not worth getting upset about. It's just worth learning from, right? Use it to make you a better writer, a better person. Like I said, learn from Mark Hamill, and don't tell your kids' baby mamas to abort their baby if they don't want to. Jesus. I mean, don't do it either way. Abortion's crazy, but acknowledge evil. Yeah, okay, I mean, everywhere I look, this poor Mark Hamill perception, it just makes me sick. But I'm done being sick. I'm just gonna look at it all like they're all characters, on this show, and certain times you need evil to break out from evil, and I think it'll make everyone better in the end. So, welcome to the Civil Gang, Mark Hamill. Fuck Mark Hamill. He's not in the Civil Gang. Welcome to the Civil Gang, Rian Johnson. Also, again, I never remember her name. I'm not ever gonna. The Asian lady who's the hero of Star Wars. Welcome to the Civil Gang. You have a place here. You're not hated here. Everyone always hates on her, and I don't like her character in the context of that movie, but she deserved the representation because, again, Mark Hamill's son's baby mama deserves the representation. She deserves the spotlight to be the hero. So if she feels represented, if she feels like the hero, then good. That's how it should be. She had a child when she wanted to have a child. That's the most beautiful fucking thing you can do. So good for her. Anyone who disagrees with that can go fuck themselves. You think because Mark Hamill doesn't want to take care of her that baby isn't wanted? Go fuck yourself. Don't watch this channel. If you believe that, then get the fuck out of here. I don't want you here. I don't want you reading my books or any of that shit. Darth Hamill is evil, and Jedi Johnson is going to rid him. Or potentially maybe it's his dad. Maybe Rian Johnson is Mark Hamill's son. No, Rian Johnson's a good guy. It doesn't make any sense. But Rian Johnson, he did his best. Anyway, I'm ranting. I always rant. Welcome to Tuesday Night Fiction, by the way. That's what I do here. And tonight, I just wanted to start off because it's been about, I don't know, maybe a month or two since the last recap episode and the last chapter episode. So now I just want to let you know that we're back. We're going to be back every week, every Tuesday from here on for a while, at least for this season. As I said in the beginning, this is an audiobook podcast. If you enjoyed what I've said so far, feel free to keep listening in. If you don't, then just leave. Honestly, I don't want you here. I'm not doing this for you. As much as like it's nice to have people around, if you're horrible, just don't even bother being here. You know, if you're like Rian Johnson's still the worst, I agree, but just don't say it. I don't want to hear it. Go ahead. If you want to put it in the comments and be a little bitch, then just do it. But you're not getting to me about it. I don't really care. Anyway, welcome to the Civil Gang for any of you who are good people, who do see the light in Rian Johnson and the light. Especially, a new Asian lady hero. Let me look up her name really quick. She deserves the recognition. I'm not going to be that guy. She's the real hero of the story. Anyways, if for anyone else, like I said, if you're new here, welcome. Take a listen to the audiobook episodes because they're freaking great. They're really worth listening to. The Civilands series is a great adventure. It's a great story. It's a story that makes sense. Plot-wise, it's also got good character development. There's a lot of characters in the story, so you need to keep up. But now that 4 books in the series are out, you can just get the whole series and read it from beginning to end. It's pretty great. I really have had a great time writing it. It's helped me grow a lot as a person, so hopefully you can do that too. Just bear with me, I'm still looking up this name. Because, again, I want you to remember this. I need to bury this in your head, right? We have Darth Hamill, who's the villain of our story. And again, if you're listening, you're part of the Civil Gang, as long as you're not a dick. So, get used to this. Darth Hamill. We have Jedi Johnson. And we have Rose Tico, the hero of the Star Wars saga. Not that cinder block of a character, Rey. It's Rose Tico. She is the last Skywalker. Rose Tico. And I'm not kidding, okay? I think I just saw her name was, I just looked at my IMDb. I think it's Kelly Marie Tran. Kelly Marie Tran, you're a legend, okay? You're a hero and a legend. And you're representing a good woman who gave birth to a beautiful child, and bravo for that. I just saw a movie that's a trailer for a movie coming out about Harriet Tubman. Whoever that actress is who's playing Harriet Tubman, good for you. You're representing what history has known as a good woman, and that's honorable. But, again, we're back with the Civilands series, so I'm going to get into that a little bit before we finish up here. Before I do, again, it's been about 2 weeks. We're back now. So like I said, every week is going to be a chapter and then an audiobook. I'm repeating myself a lot. However, next week is going to be chapter 2. We had chapter 1 last week. In chapter 1, we got to catch up with Latera, who's now at the hold. Spoiler alert from here on out, for those of you who haven't started the series yet. But you can do that by going back to the beginning of these YouTube videos. It should be episode number 1. This is a serial podcast, so listen to 1 and then continue on. Anyway, Latera is now at the hold with her people in the Bahani. They've been captured as they were led south by Elon and the Tokali, who are operating in conjunction with the Keegan gang. The Tokali and the Bahani are rival clans. So there is obviously already some conflict between them, but now that the Tokali are joined with the Keegan gang, the Bahani are in a bad situation. As we've seen in chapter 1, Latera has just been put through the ringer at the hold. She's taken kind of this responsibility of leadership amongst her people since the councilmen that betrayed her father were killed when they came to the hold. She's consoling people who were abused by the Keegans and sometimes the Tokali, and it's just a very dangerous situation that she's in there. She was confronted by Elon. Elon gave her some information about telling her that Clovis Keegan is going to address the hold for the first time. So during this confrontation where she snatches a gun off a Keegan man and is rescued by a mysterious character, she actually is able, she snatches a gun up and she has that with her, and she decides she's going to kill Clovis Keegan. That's her plan. As usual, Chapter 1 is not very revealing. There's not a whole lot I can get into yet. But on the flip side, up north in the town of Iran, we see Daniel Keegan, who, for all intents and purposes, things seem to be going swimmingly for him. He's hooking up with the barmaid of the town. He has a quick talk with a new character that we're introduced to, the hotel owner, Donald Schneider. He's a very old man, inspired, by the way, by one of my favorite shows, Fargo. If you haven't watched Fargo, watch it. Great show based on a movie. The TV show, in my opinion, is better than the movie. If I had to rank the seasons of the TV show, I'd probably say Season 1, then Season 3, then Season 2. The reason I go in that order is because the seasons are not chronological, so you don't... They are in the context of the world, but they're pretty much standalone seasons, so you don't have to watch them in order. Anyway, so we see Daniel. Things seem to be going very good for him until he eventually in the scene leaves the hotel room, leaves the hotel altogether, and is told by his men that they've found someone. They found a dead body, in fact, of one of the members of their gang back at the house of the Morels, who the Keegan gang, led by Clovis Keegan, unbeknownst to Daniel, that he burned down the Morel home, Clovis did. And so now, right out in front of the Morel home, they find a Keegan body with a wolf carcass hunched over it, or draped over it, and a Keegan pin buried into the eye of the wolf. Obviously a very grisly scene. But that's how we end the chapter, with that, and next to that is the sign with some blood spattered on it about the hunters becoming the prey, and then on the other side of the sign we see the welcome to Haran is the sign that they used for that purpose. Like I mentioned, a very eerie opening to the chapter. It's not much to say other than welcome back to the series. A lot happens in book 2. It's one chapter longer than book 1. There's going to be a lot of Easter eggs in this book. I think coming into writing this book, I had a couple things going on in my head and in writing. So first of all, you finish writing book 1 and you publish book 1, and then you start to move on to book 2. And having never written a book before that point, you kind of get this feeling of like, can I do it again, right? And not like replicate success. I mean, I haven't really seen very much success. I have several people who really enjoy the series, who like it a lot, who advertise for it, and I am extremely appreciative to the Civil Gang. Join up, by the way. But you start to think, like, can I even physically write again? Can I finish another story from beginning to end? Because it's a tall order. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And when you finish a coherent story for the first time, it's just hard to picture doing it again. And I think what I learned is just a matter of sitting down and doing it. The second one, like I said, ended up being a little bit longer. One of the other things I learned along the way is it actually was easier the second time around, mainly because the world is already built on the one hand, but then also you start to see that, kind of like when you're playing a sport and you practice a lot. The more you practice, the more it'll become natural the next time. You know, it just becomes when you're up at bat, you're not thinking about standing the right way anymore. You just swing as soon as the ball comes, and you're already in the right position. You're already standing the right way. Your body moves the right way, and you naturally hit it better the more you practice that swing. You just keep doing the swing over and over to the point where the next time when you eventually come to bat, it's just second nature. And that's kind of, again, it's only the second book I ever wrote. It's not second nature yet, but it definitely, you could feel it getting more to that point. And what that allows for is just greater depth in terms of the themes and the characters. I don't think I was totally at the point yet with 2 that I was able to kind of fully explore that, but it was definitely got a lot stronger in terms of who are these people, what are they doing, what are their tics. That's another thing. The details, like being able to see the bigger picture and being able to understand that you can put the whole picture together, it helps you with the details the next time around to really focus on those details and to just drill at them over and over again. And we're starting to see more, like I mentioned, of who these characters are. We'll start to see more of it as the series goes on, and I'll get more into that, like I said, when I can. Right now, Chapter 1 is still a little bit early for that, without giving away spoilers. So, I think I'm going to finish there. This has been episode, I think, 22 of the Tuesday Night Fiction podcast. It's been fun. It's been a fun one. I wanted to talk about The Last Jedi since I started. It's just such a case study in, like, honestly, just what not to do when you're writing. Again, I know it sounds like satire. I really believe everything I've said today, honestly. Rose Tico is my new hero. She's the hero of the story. I'm not kidding. Rian Johnson, I don't want to just look at him negatively. I don't know what the guy's done. That's the thing. I don't know who he is as a person. The movie is terrible, right? The movie is terrible as it is standing alone. But I choose to not look at it with despair. I choose to just accept it for what it is and say, there's got to be a hero somewhere. You know, it's not Disney. It's not the Devil Mouse. It's not Darth Hamill. I know that for sure. You know, because I've seen things about who that guy is. Clearly, he's not who he goes around to these press conferences pretending to be. Who people prop him up to be because he's so fun at these press conferences, you know? And again, it's not a matter of even... It's a matter of just moral conscience, right? No matter what side you're on the issue that I brought up. It's like, either way, he's horrible. No matter how you look at it, I'm being fair about it. So again, you just kind of have to... You have to believe that there's hope. And I think there is hope for Star Wars. I think, honestly, what I see happening is this series is just going to suck. I mean, just awful. It's going to be so bad. Just to an unbelievable degree. But I think that the next one probably won't be as bad. I think they're going to have it plotted out from beginning to end. It has to be better for it. It can't be worse, can it? I mean, can it? Unless... I mean, you never know, I guess. The guys who finished Game of Thrones wrote it, so who knows if they know how to finish anything, those guys. But you have to believe that they're going to learn from their mistakes, I guess. But maybe they'll have the same mission. Again, if they suck at it, I'll find a reason to be positive about it. I just choose not to dwell on stuff that doesn't really matter. You got to look at the things that do matter. The things that do matter are not treating people like shit and taking away the greatest gift they have in the world, which is, you know, making life. Anyway, so, again, this has been Tuesday Night Fiction. I'm Nicholas Austin. Repeating myself a lot tonight. I'll try to fix that next time. No, I won't. I'm just being myself, so I'm not gonna apologize for anything. Anyway, Book 4 came out last week of the Civilands series. Books 1 to 4 are now out. Book 4 is incredible in my opinion. Again, so much happens. It's probably the best book I could possibly write. Honestly, we'll see. Maybe Book 5 will be better. I probably will feel it is once it's done, but who knows? We'll see. So go out if you like what you heard today. Even if you hate what you heard today, just go out and buy the books on Amazon. I think you can buy them as a bundle. They're available there in ebook or paperback form. Or if you just, again, whether you want to read them or not, if you prefer to listen in podcast format, like I said, the whole series is going to be available in podcast format. I'm coming out with the chapters every week from book 1 through book 5, once book 5 is done. So you could listen or read, but if you like what you're hearing and you want to listen through the whole thing, supporting through Amazon and buying the books is just a hugely appreciated help. Also, if you really enjoy what you read or hear in the podcast, feel free to go to Amazon and leave a review, or to Goodreads and leave a review, or to just go to your social media and share your membership in the Civil Gang. If you are along for the ride, if you're having fun, you're part of it. So thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. We're gonna reach the mountaintops together, all of them. We're gonna ride through the territory. Also, I guess I'll mention before I go, we recently released a series map that is available on my website as well, along with everything else. Everything that you could ever want to see is available on my website. There's a series trailer, both on my website and on YouTube. It's right at the top when you first go to my website at www.nbaustinbooks.com. It's all there. The books are there. Where you can find the books are there. Where you can buy them. More about me. Everything is there. As well, there's also a contact form. You can contact me on my contact form on my website or on social media. Let me know what you think of everything in the comments, wherever. But for now, we'll wrap up. To the bold alone, thanks for joining me as always. Next week we will continue with chapter 2. Until then, have a good night.